Hello, I'm very sorry that I'm having to record this audio on my phone. My microphones don't seem to be working at the moment. So apologies for the not very good sound quality. But anyway, welcome to a slightly different video today. I'm going to be talking a bit about my journey to becoming a freelance illustrator and kind of like what my practice looks like at the moment. So my journey, I'm going to start all the way back when I was in year 6 of primary school. Now I had a teacher who was really creative, and she was an artist, and she really inspired me during that year to kind of like keep drawing. There's this one time where we were doing this recreation of Picasso's Guernica. I know it's crazy for 11 year olds to be recreating that, and we all sort of did like a panel of the painting. And I remember whilst I was kind of like doing my painting that she sort of like came over to me and said, "Oh my gosh, wow, that's amazing what you've done." And she actually invited me to kind of like do some extra kind of panels for that piece of work. That was kind of my first like memory of kind of knowing that I wanted to go into the arts. And fast forward to high school, I did GCSE art and A-level, which I found quite challenging at times because I was making very sort of illustrative work that sort of didn't really fit the more like fine art sort of like curriculum that there was, especially in my school, and I just kind of felt like I didn't really fit the mold of like what being an artist means, and I didn't really fully kind of understand what like other disciplines were out there. So I went through that time, especially my A-level, where I was making this sort of children's book illustration sort of work, and I didn't achieve quite as well as I would have hoped. And I kind of put it down to the fact that it's because I wasn't doing realistic paintings in acrylic. But I don't know. It was a weird time for me, and I was also going through my chronic pain diagnosis at the time. So it was a particularly challenging couple of years for me around then. And whilst I was on that A-level, my teacher recommended that I go on to study a foundation course, which would help me to ultimately decide kind of what area of art and design I wanted to be in, because I still kind of didn't really know, and it was at the time where everyone was sort of like pressing you to pick your university options, and I was just so overwhelmed. I had no idea what I really wanted to do. So I went on to do the foundation course, and I had a great time. I explored loads of different areas of art, and I really enjoyed it. And I ended up picking a specialism that was to do with kind of media, like graphic design, illustration, and it was definitely the right choice. I kind of knew the illustration was where I wanted to go by that point, and then COVID hit. It was a weird time. We were sort of like not knowing whether to keep going with our work, whether to stop. So I ended up doing pet commissions in lockdown to kind of like keep me occupied and earn me a bit of money, because I had lost my cafe job as well at that time. So I ended up kind of drawing for myself quite a lot and posting it online. Then I applied. I think I'd already applied to my illustration degree at that point, and I was sort of looking ahead to that and what that might look like. And I found a flat with some friends where I was studying, and it was just a weird time, weird summer, moving into a flat and then starting my degree whilst kind of in and out of lockdown was really weird. But on the whole, my illustration course was really fun. They ended up giving us some money towards buying some materials that we could use at home, and I just had a great time kind of like figuring out ways to do different processes from my flat bedroom. And I ended up kind of trying things like lino printing from home, paper making. I did a zine. It was interesting the first year. Things kind of calmed down by the end of first year in terms of COVID, and we had loads of different kind of briefs, and I explored so many different areas of illustration. I had no idea about. And we did things like kind of book covers, editorial illustrations, we did zines, of course, and children's book illustrations. And I really sort of pushed myself to like give everything a go. And yeah, my work was very varied during that time. I think I was quite focused on sort of printmaking. I did quite a bit of digital and mixed media sort of work as well. And then when it came to my third year, my final year of my degree, I took a real interest in kind of protest and like communicating messages within my artwork about all of the sort of things that I'm really passionate about, and that's tends to be things like environmental activism, nature, and I really sort of in final year wanted to make that my focus. So I undertook two kind of broad protest projects. One of them was all about mushrooms and kind of encouraging people to think more about mycelium fungi and how important it is for both our kind of like woodland systems and kind of all life on earth. And I picked up sewing, so my mum very kindly lent me her sewing machine and I taught myself how to sew. I used all sorts of scrap fabric. I went to a local scrap store for most of it. People kept giving me fabric, and it was just a really interesting time for exploring that as a different medium, and kind of like it's not really a conventional thing you think about when you think of illustration, but I was able to really sort of like tie it into what I was doing. I did some kind of variety of different materials, but my sort of end result of that mushroom protest project was a massive quilt, which was made using sort of a mixture of printmaking and sewing techniques. And it's kind of like one of my precious pieces of work that I will hold on to forever. I really want to put it up in my studio when I get a big one eventually, because it probably would take up like a whole wall. So that was that project. And then for my final project, I decided to do all about sea life, and encouraging people to think about seaweed and protecting species, and it was kind of similar, but I ended up doing a collection of protest materials. So some of them were banners, some of them were scarves and zines, and I actually ended up making a pattern for some trousers, and I ended up sewing the trousers and a hat. Don't ask me why. And we did some really cool photo shoots with all of those materials. And it was just a really cool time. And I feel like people were sort of acknowledging like illustration not being so black and white in terms of what you can and can't do. I just really loved that project, and I exhibited it in my degree show alongside some of my other sort of banners and textiles. So that was my degree, and sort of all through that time I was freelancing and selling things on Etsy, and doing market stalls. I remember I did my first one. I was so nervous. It was called a green market, and I thought that kind of aligned with like my values and some of the kind of messages I was communicating, and it went so well, and I've been doing markets ever since. I remember, I think it was in 2023-24, I really burnt myself out in terms of the amount of markets I was doing, and it was because I was so determined to like find the ones that worked for me and also kind of give things a go. So I did do a lot. Not all of them were good, some of them were amazing, some of them I did not make my table deposit back, but I learned a lot in terms of my stock and presenting and talking to people, and I gained so much valuable experience. And in my final year I set up an eco collective, hosting things like events and projects, and I'm still going with that. I'm the creative director and been hosting events sort of in the Leeds Bradford area to this day, and it's getting really exciting. I feel like I'm doing really well with it. It's me directing a bunch of freelancers. I get to work with different people all the time. I get to kind of see familiar faces. There's a few events that sort of reoccurring every year, and it's just really cool what it's becoming. So Studio Greenly, if you want to check it out on Instagram or the website. I probably won't be making a separate YouTube channel for it, just because this channel is sort of becoming something exciting, and I sort of want to mention it here and there. After I graduated August 2023, I ended up applying for a PSHE teaching job at a college. It was a really hard time. I'd never taught before aside from sort of freelance workshops, so it was a really odd few months of my life. Maybe not few, I think it was 7 months in the end. Anyway, I hung in there, and eventually an art technician job came up in the college I was working at, and at that time I decided to also do a level 3 in teaching, so that was really fun. I really enjoyed it. The switch was definitely worth it. I was on a lower amount of money, but it felt like it was the right move in terms of my career progression into more of the sort of art side of things. My camera died for a second, sorry about that. I picked up some teaching in community settings, in adult settings. I also taught on some level 3 and level 2 art courses, which was really cool. And I've been doing my PGC for the past 2 years now. It's a part-time course. I'm still going with that. Eventually the time came where I wanted to move jobs, and I'm now a full-time art teacher at a SEND specialist college, which is really awesome. I can't believe I get to say that now. It's been an amazing time so far for me in this new job. Really enjoying it. I feel like people really value me for what I do, and yeah, I'm still freelancing. I'm doing all this content on YouTube, I'm posting on Instagram, I have my website shop now, and it's been really fun to kind of delve into ceramics more, having this studio space and a chance to get messy and kind of do things I wouldn't have necessarily been able to do from my home office. So yeah, really love it so far. I like where things are going. I'm really enjoying exploring selling work still at markets, and yeah, hosting freelance workshops alongside my full-time job. So yeah, that's my journey to where I am now. Thank you so much for watching this video. You can check out my Instagram, my website and my shop in my bio. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day.